always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. This is the primary rule of gun safety. A safe direction means that the gun is pointed so that even if it were to go off, it would not cause injury or damage. The key to this rule is to control where the muzzle or front end of the barrel is pointed at all times. Common sense dictates the safest direction, depending on different circumstances. Hi friends, this is FirearmPop, and I have another interesting set of armed citizen stories coming to you today, and that's directly out of this month's First Freedom magazine. And if we look right inside on page 26, we'll see the armed citizen. And so I'm just going to read you a few stories out of this. Once again, if you're not a member of the NRA, I strongly suggest you join. You get some great things like this magazine. That's just one page out of this, which is chock full of great, interesting stories and things about the Second Amendment and how to protect our rights. So, without further ado, let's get right on to the armed citizen stories. Sandra Mize, 63, was asleep when she heard someone break in through the back door of her home. She grabbed her .22 caliber handgun she keeps by her bed and ran into her dark living room. Mize could see the silhouette of a man in her kitchen and warned him that she was armed. The man approached her despite her warnings. Mize fired once. The intruder advanced to the living room where he collapsed on the sofa. Mize kept her gun aimed at the intruder and asked him if he had been hit, but received no response. Soon after, police arrived and the intruder made his getaway attempt. He leapt from the sofa and tried to flee through the back door, but was met by police dog. Officers arrested the 35-year-old perpetrator, who was uninjured. He reportedly been jailed on 2 counts of burglary. Uninjured. That's a strange story. That happened in Spokane, Washington. Okay. 2 teenage boys were spotted by a neighbor as they loaded items from the cabin next door into a vehicle parked outside. The youths wore what appeared to be blood-splattered clothing. The neighbor retrieved a firearm, confronting the interlopers. They were held at gunpoint until police arrived. The teens had run away from a juvenile rehabilitation camp just 2 days before. They had broken into a cabin and brutally murdered the elderly couple staying there before the armed citizen was able to stop them. Amen. That was the Kansas City Star, Springfield, Missouri. Passengers were picked up by a limousine driver and driven to a nightclub. Afterward, the party was taken into a convenience store. 2 vehicles followed the limousine from the convenience store and pulled up on either side of the limo, forcing the chauffeur to stop. There was an attempted robbery during which bullets riddled the limousine. 2 passengers sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The chauffeur, who was a concealed carry permit, returned fire, fending off the attackers. And that was in St. Petersburg, Florida. A tattoo artist, Sean Rodriguez, was working one afternoon when he was alerted to an assault taking place outside Black Cobra Tattoo. 6 men could be seen assaulting an individual in the parking lot. He couldn't just sit back and watch an innocent person being hurt. So Rodriguez, he grabbed the firearm he is licensed to carry and approached the group of men. Upon seeing the gun, the suspects fled. Rodriguez never fired a shot, nor did he point the gun in their direction. That was just an incident of a responsible gun owner doing what he was supposed to do, Rodriguez explained. The victim was treated for minor injuries and nothing was stolen. It was the last reported. All 6 suspects are still at large. And that was in Salisbury, Maryland. Wow, concealed carry holder in Maryland. That's a new one on me. But anyway, a man in his early 30s entered Armin's House of Music one afternoon, looked around and left. He returned just a few minutes later with a wooden club and began attacking the owner's wife, Sylvia Armin, who was working on the store at the time. The owner, Alfred Armin, heard the commotion and ran to his wife's aid. He tried to defend his wife and fought with the suspect before shooting him to death. Mr. and Mrs. Armand were later then taken to the hospital with head injuries and are expected to recover. According to police, there was no motive behind the attack, and that was in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Wow. Shailyn Burton, 25, was asleep in her home when she heard someone banging on the front door at about 4 a.m. When Burton answered the door, a woman forced her way into the residence. The woman got into a physical altercation, and Burton was able to pin the woman against the wall. Burton told the woman that she had children in the home and that she needed to leave. The woman reportedly threatened the lives of Burton and her children, so Burton ran upstairs and grabbed her gun. She held the woman at gunpoint until the police arrived. That was in Warren, Ohio. It was around 10:30 p.m. when Matt Fugate heard a commotion from inside his home. When Fugate ran to investigate, he found two men assaulting his brother, John Fugate. One of the suspects was reportedly brandishing what turned out to be a pellet gun. When Fugate saw his brother in danger, he did not hesitate to take action. I raced for the gun vault and had my gun in my hand in 5 seconds, he explained. Fugate ordered the intruders not to move and to keep their hands up. While Fugate held the intruders at gunpoint, his brother was able to call police. There was no serious injuries reported. Matt Fugate later commented on the ordeal, "I was scared and angry, but I relieved that nothing bad came of it, and that it ended the way it did, peacefully." And that was in the blaze at Ellensville, Indiana. Well, just another great example of a citizen coming to the aid and rescue of their fellow citizens. And that's what it's all about, folks, here in the United States. It's to defend yourself, your family, and your neighbors. This is FirearmPop. Be safe out there, and God bless. Bye now.